Howdy everybody, my name is Grant here for Team Evo, and I got 11th place at the what are you doing?
Distracting you.
Yeah, okay. I got 11th place at the Indianapolis Regional yesterday, and so I wanted to do a quick deck profile. I decided to play Solfachord Yummy. So originally the plan was I was going to play Mitsu Yummy, and I've been practicing Mitsu Yummy for like 2 or 3 weeks to get ready for it. And then I did the math, and statistically, the build that I had, which was I think playing the least amount of bricks and 50 cards, that I talked about in the pod a little bit, shout out to the pod. The build that there's a cat.
Cat.
Sick. The build that I had drew a brick statistically 50% of the time. And now, I don't know if you guys are math people, but that, not good. So I just kept being so frustrated by drawing Saji, drawing the ritual spell, and just like playing with the 4-card hand. So I was like, I just can't do this anymore. So I wanted to pivot to either pure Yummy or some other variant. And so originally I looked at Fiendsmith Yummy just because I like the Fiendsmith cards. And you can technically make it with an Armades now that Moon is banned. But I saw a couple of tweets that Paolo posted from Sao Alto, I think it was, the recent South American YCS, the one like last weekend. And he played Solfachord Yummy, and I thought that was interesting because I saw a couple of lists like bopping around, but I didn't know that if it was that good. And so I actually got to talk to not Paulo, I can't remember his name, but someone on Twitter a little bit to talk about lines a little bit. I'll throw a link in the description. But he gave me a couple of tips about the deck, and so I pivoted from Mitsu to Solfachord Wednesday. And then I played it for the first time on Thursday, and then I learned all the lines on Friday, and then we got 11th place on Sunday, or on Saturday. So, you know, I'm very professional, obviously. But it worked out really well. I'm very happy with the deck. I think that switching from Mitsurugi to Solfachord was absolutely the right move. Whenever I drew the Solfachord cards, I won. Realistically, I think I drew them going second, and it wasn't necessarily a win, but every time I drew them going first, I just won on the spot. So, yeah, here's going to be the deck. For the deck, we've got 3 copies of Cup C, 3 copies of Marshmallow, 2 copies of Cookie, and 1 copy of Lollipop. These are pretty standard ratios. Mitsu, I think, plays 1 less copy of Cookie sometimes. You could cut down on the 1 Cookie. I really wanted to open exactly 1 Yummy card in my opener pretty much every time, so that way I had a way through Fua. So if you go like normal summon the guy, they Fua, you can like make a link 1, special this out, and then do the line that way. Or if you had like the Solfachord Happiness, you could Happiness, special guy, they Fua you, anticipating you making a link 1, then you just normal summon the guy, make the Snatchy. Anyway, I just wanted to play like a critical mass of these for when I got Fua'd and such. Or like when they Ash Cupsy, because that happens a lot nowadays. Going second, I usually take out 1 Cookie, but and sometimes one Marshmallow, depending on the matchup. Like against Draco Tail, I keep it in, but against like combo decks, I'll take it out. Just so that I don't see too many names in my hand going second, because it's kind of a liability going second. For the Yummy spells, I played 1 of each of the good ones. One of the things I really like about this build is that you do get to play the Acro K. In the Mitsurugi build, it's kind of a really bad Garnet. You don't want to play it. Some people side it. I don't know if I don't really like siding it. But I really like this deck gets to play it, because if you play all 3 spells, that means that drawing any one of them individually going second is no longer a brick. Because you search 1 off the Cupsy and you find the other field spell you're missing off of the Snatchy. So if you draw like Acro K, you can immediately place the Acro K, start committing into the board. If they start removing your monsters, which Yummy is really weak to, then you can immediately punish them, summon another guy, and gives you another push. If you draw like the minion, it lets you play through like negation on the Acro K. And if I draw any one of these, I will always make sure to search minion off of the Cupsy if I can. Unless of course, I already draw it. One of the things I really like doing in this deck is searching the minion off the Cupsy and then grabbing Acro K off of the Snatchy, because that lets you play through Disruption, not only, as I just said, but also this lets you crack a back row, which this deck cannot really interact with back row that well. I never board these out. These are insane. I don't understand why people board out Acro K. It is just an insane card.
Insane.
Insane. My wife said it, so it's got to be true. 1 Obedient School, the government mandated 1 of. It's just like your best push going second. I drew it like a mad lad, to be completely honest. There was one match 2 against a friend of ours, Chase, who I was trying very hard to throw that game, but my deck would not let me throw. I was trying everything in my power to lose that match, but my deck was like, you are not going to lose. So I drew the Obedient School at like the perfect time. It's so fucking stupid. This card probably should be banned, to be completely honest. For the Solfachord cards, I played 3 Primoa, 3 Happiness, 1 Cutia, and 1 Solfachia. And then I played 1 Piri Raise map to find the Primoa. These cards are really cool because they are an Omni before you commit to the Cupsy. I just spilled the Primoa all over the place. They're an Omni before you commit to the Cupsy. So what you can do is you can start with these cards. If they interact with it, well, you've just normal summoned a level 1 to turn into Link Kuriboh. And then if you have a Yummy name in your hand, you can just keep going. Or if they interact with Primo with like an Imperm and you just hard open the Happiness, you're like sitting pretty. This card is really good because if you hard draw it, you can't like discard it off the cat. You can't discard it off the Happiness, but you can special it if this gets disrupted. So these 2 cards together play through an Imperm. Because they'll go like Imperm this, you say that's fine, you activate this effect as special, you link this out, and then you activate this effect to summon this from the extra deck. And then you have Link 1 plus level 1. And then Cutia is full Yummy combo. So the bricks in this version of the deck is what I'm saying is the bricks are still good in this version. Because at the worst, this is full combo, these are the good cards, this finds Primoa, and this is just a guy you can normal summon to make Almirage. So it's functionally a hand trap in the lines where you have like a hand trap plus a Yummy name. So it's actually really, these are all like fine to draw. This again does suck a little bit, but it's fine. Every hand I drew these going first, I won. I thought I was going to be really underwhelmed with the Solfachord cards because they're not very, they don't have I didn't think they had a lot of pushes, but with the spell, they actually do have an incredible amount of pushes. This spell is insane. It just summons, it adds 2, summons a guy from your hand, and then going second, it functionally just summons 2 guys from your deck. Like, it's crazy. It's also got 2 other effects. One lets you get another Pendulum Summon, and one lets you summon from Scales. Every effect came up today. It's also not once per turn, so over the normal combo, which I'll show you at the end of this, but over the normal combo, you actually do use 2 effects of this. There's a couple other neat interactions. Like, if you have a Primoa on the field, your Link 3 cannot be negated. So one thing I will try to do is if I have like Yummy name plus Primoa on the Primoa in my opener, I'll try to leave this on the field for as long as I can. So that way, if they like try to nib Imperm me, they can't because the Link 3 cannot be negated. It also means that if they Dark Ruler me, like if they don't interact with me at all, they Dark Ruler me on their turn, the Link 3 will still persist because this is on the field and it doesn't know that this is also going to be negated at time of negation. So it will stay unnegated. If they hit me with 2 Dark Rulers, this will actually get negated, but it'll just insulate from that. And then if they do end up like negating the Link 3 through some method, this is a Ryseal Cross. In the Pendulum Scale, while you have a Grand Solfachord monster, you can pop it to just negate something at Point of Resolution, which I think from Ryseal format we all know, Point of Resolution negates are really good. But yeah, these cards were absolutely insane. Pivoting was absolutely the right move. I'm going to be probably playing this deck for YCS Pittsburgh in November. They're just insane. I just really like Pendulums. Other random consistency cards, we got 1 Call By, 1 Tactics, just the one-ofs of the format, I guess. And then the rest of it is just hand traps. We're only playing 16, which for a Yummy deck feels low, but with the added pushes you get from the Solfachord card, specifically Happiness, the spell, I think that's justifiable. You can push into a couple boards really easily, especially considering like the average Yummy mindset for Pure is just dunk the normal and like you'll be fine. But if you like Primoa and the spell just gives you a couple more ways to push through that. For hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Purge. This is another reason I really want to play the Solfachord deck because this card is insane right now, and you get to play it in this version because everything's either an Earth or a Light. Yeah, and it makes your Mitsu matchup just a lot easier because even in Yummy Mitsu, you can kind of run through a Yummy Mitsu mirror going second if your opponent doesn't set up correctly, or if they have like a suboptimal hand, or if they just don't get to get everything in rotation. But this makes that matchup just a lot easier. 3 Bell. Best format for Bell pretty much of all time. And 3 draw, I was really scared of FTKs and I was scared of Mitsurugi. Because I still think, although like the non-engine is like catered around beating the Mitsurugi card specifically, I didn't know if it would necessarily be enough. I wanted to play one more card for it. And Droll was like that one card. It was good. Nope, Droll won me a couple games. I don't regret main decking it. I did have like the Namba with Fua a couple times, but the worst case scenario is that you can normal summon the one of them to make Almirage to start your plays, or you can discard for happiness, or you can discard for Cupsy, or blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of ways to get rid of the cards in your hand in this deck. Those were the 15 like really good hand traps. There's one kind of shitter in this deck that I'm not sure I would play again, and that is the Imperm. Imperm's kind of bad right now. It's kind of like at an all-time low, in my opinion. Problem with Imperm is that everything can dodge targeting. You know, Cupsy just doesn't give a shit about targeting because you can just chain Snatch, or you can chain a Synchron, whatever. Draco Tail, like, targeting negation on our Thalion is really good, but that's really it, because nothing, like, else you really care about. Maybe, like, Malulu, but, like, that's kind of like playing into 5 mana. It's weird, you know. Mitsu, they can just dodge with prayers. It's just a whole thing. So I doesn't really like Imperm, but I had, like, 39 cards figured out, like, locked in, and I wasn't sure about the last one. Going forward, I might take this out for, like, another Piri Raise map, because the Primoa was, like, that good to find. Not sure. I might play, like, another Lollipo. I don't know if I love that, but it's just, like, it's another card that's, like, consistency, that I can just take out going second. The other thing with this deck, and that I think was one of the best parts about it, is that I didn't break the entire day. I literally bricked 0 times. You're playing 9... 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards that are all full combo, and that they all extend with each other. It's just incredible. Like, you're never going to break with this deck, and I never did. So this probably could be like a, maybe like a random thrust target for both sides. Maybe I could put a thrust in. I don't know. The Imperm is just kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Imperm. I just don't like it. For the extra deck, I played the 3 Snatchy and the 3 Synchros. This is all pretty standard. 1 Link Karibo for the combos, 1 Almirage, and 1 Link Spider. You really want to play the Link Spider in this version because the Solfachord cards commit into Nibiru before they establish Cupsy. Which is all not great, but if you draw an extender like a Cupsy or a Lollipop or a Cookie or whatever, it lets you make the Link Spider after they nib you, and then you get to just summon and keep going, which is really good. 1 IP, oddly enough, you need this for the opening Solfachord combo, but it's just really good as an endboard piece if you don't get to the Solfachord cards. SP because it's the best card of the game, and then I only played the 1 Solfachord Link monster. I was playing around with the second Link 2. The reason you would play it is because if you get Fluid and you have like a bunch of Solfachord cards in your hand, it's really hard to justify committing into yummy plays, but it's really easy to justify committing into Point of Resolution Negate plus Link 2, so that you have like something through Fua, because the Solfachord cards are just not good through Fua. I don't know, I just didn't really like that as a game plan. I think you're better off just like trying to open the yummy cards in that situation. Like if I had map and they Fluid and like the Stand My Face would happen a couple times, which I don't know why it happened a couple times, but it did. I just went map for Cupsy and then, you know, I just went from there. I might play the Link too. Right now, there's a card that's not pulling its weight. I'll show you in a second. Other Synchros, Marcher and Herald, these are pretty standard. And then 1 Typhon. Typhon was kind of giga ass the entire day. I never summoned it once. I never even wanted to summon it once. I think this card's just bad. Yeah, viewers of the pod know I hate this card. Not because it's good, because it's bad. I'm probably going to cut this, but I don't really know what for. There was a couple options. The one at the top of my list was like Donner. And the reason I wanted to play Donner is it lets you commit into the Solfachord cards without using the IP. And so when I show you the combo, I'll show you. But you use the IP over the course of the Solfachord combo. And if you play Donner, you can use that instead. It gets a little tricky, but you can use it and it does work. It also lets you out your guys if you get like Nibiru, so that you can go for like a Obedient School play, or if you start with the Solfachord cards and they disrupt you, you can go for an Obedient School play. or like a thrust into that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. This card was bad. Don't play this one. 14 cards in the extra deck are really locked in. The 15th card, not as locked in. For the side deck, I got 3 Retaliating Sea. I don't think I summoned this a single time the entire day. Metaltronus, the single-handedly won me like 2 matches against the mirror. Like just the yummy cards, not necessarily Solfachord cards. This card is insane. I recommend this one. 2 Thrust. 3 felt really bricky to me in testing, even in like 50 cards with the Mitsu deck. So I really like playing 2 in the side deck right now. Thrust is really good because you can put it in going first and second in this deck, which is just super nice. 2 Lightning Storm. This was kind of like the last 2 slots of the deck, and we'll talk about what else I considered in a moment. But I just wanted something generically to go in going second, because I had 5 cards from the engine that I wanted to board out going second, and I just needed like 2 cards to just always go in, pretty much no matter what. 1 Harpies, because for Thrust and because it's a good card. 3 D-Barrier, because it is the best floodgate in the format. And then I wanted something I could put in if I played against a deck that didn't care about D-Barrier. It is a regional, you're going to face a couple of those. So I was thinking about what I could play. And I was thinking about it, and I think the best card would be the Black Goat Laughs. The reason I chose the Black Goat was because it is like the most generic, I can always put this in going first, and it will always do something kind of card. I don't think I would have swapped it out for anything else. It did win me like 1 game. It kept me in a game against Charlie Futch. I played against Futch again for like the 3rd time. Goddamn. This man has cooked my clock like 3 times.
What does that mean? Cooked your clock?
Cooked my clock? You don't know what that means? It means he beat me. He beat me bad. He beat my doo-doo ass.
No one says that.
No one says that? No, people say that, babe.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is recording this. So he cooked me with this. Or, sorry, I had a, he cooked me, but I had a shot if I didn't misplay in game 3 since I was playing this. But I just wanted some other thrust target that I could put in that would do something. And then in this deck, I usually like to take out like the tactics, because I don't like tactics going first in this version of the deck because you don't really lose to hand traps. I take out the Obedience School because it's kind of the worst starter going first because it doesn't let you do nearly anything, and you can't like bait it in, or like baiting removal is not really a thing you do going first because like Ogre is not really in the format. So I take out Obedience School going first, and then I take out like the 1 of Imperm for the Black Goat essentially, and then like the 3 for the 3 barrier. But this also works as you can put in 2 thrusts and 1 Black Goat Laughs, and then you can keep in the Imperm and the Obedience and the tactics and just put in those 3 cards. These 2 cards were a lot of different things. I wanted something that stopped me from getting FTK'd, or I wanted something to play against like back row decks, because that Odeon deck did win that 1 YCS, and I was like a little afraid of that. So I was wanting something for either back row or for the FTKs. The best FTK card you can play to beat the FTKs is Impulse, but I can't play that play that card. So I was trying to think about what would actually do it, and there was a point where this was too Imperm, because Imperm just felt like the best because it was only one of the only things that could actually negate Ripper, which means that it paired a lot better. Nib was another consideration. I might go back to Nib, I'm not entirely sure, but Nib was another consideration in the slot. Even though I hate it, we all know I hate Nib. But I ended up going with Lightning Storm just because Lightning Storm, no matter what happened, I could always put this in going second, which is something I really valued. Like a card like Nib's kind of only situationally good going second. So that's why I played this. Just to go over 2 more things, I'll show you the basic combo, and then I'll go over like my siding patterns. Going first, I'll usually take out tactics, because again, I don't like tactics going first in this deck. Obedience Schooled, and then the 3 Fualos, wherever they are. And I'll put in like the 1 Imperm, and I'll put in the Black Goat, the 3 D-Barrier, and the 2 Thrust. And then, like, these cards matchup dependent and pretty much go in for roll, depending on the matchup. Metaltron's for pure Yummy, and then, you know, Retaliating Sea for Draco Tail. So these cards pretty much get swapped out when I go first, and then when I go second, I put in the Thrust, and I take out the Call by a Primoa, because you know, this is not as hard to find with Thrust, because you can Thrust for the normal spell, which I did a couple times. And then I take out 1 cookie, and 1 marshmallow. I don't feel good about taking out a marshmallow in this deck, but marshmallow special from hand is not as common. I don't know. It's just like the next best card to take out, I think, and I really wanted to put 5 cards in going second for like math reasons. This card could probably be a different card to take out. I just really wanted to play like 20 non-engine going second. And these were the cards. Yeah. So I think I'll just show you guys like the combo I'm going for, because I haven't really found it online that much. It's in like a tweet that one guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but it's in a tweet that one guy showed. But I'll just show it here so you guys like can go from that.
That one guy.
That one guy. Shout out that one guy. I'll put his Twitter in the description. So this is like a 1.5 card. You need like a card to discard and a Primoa. So what you do is you normal summon Primoa. Primoa effect is going to add any Solfachord card from deck to hand. If they imperm or Ashes or whatever, you just make a linked one and have a yummy in hand and just keep going. You add the Happiness. Happiness, again, a crazy card. It discards for effect too, so you don't go -1 to use it. You discard, and then you grab 2 Solfachord cards from your deck to your hand. The good ones are these 2, Cutia and Solfachord. And then you get to special 1 from your hand. And again, going second, you get to special like more than 1 if they have a monster. It's the number of monsters they have +1. So if you just have a bunch of Solfachord cards in your hand, which happened a couple times, you just get to summon them all from your hand. It's absolutely crazy. But you will usually summon the Cutia. Cutia effect's going to add a card from deck to hand. I will just add another copy of Primoa. These 2 make IP. And then you get to scale these 2. Pendulum summon out for 2. This is the nib zone. They nib here if they have nib. Otherwise, you turn the Cutia and the IP into the link 3. And then you can trigger the effect of Primoa. Primoa is going to add back a card from your graveyard or extra deck. In this case, we're going to add back the Happiness. And then trigger the second effect of Happiness, which gives us an extra Pendulum summon. The extra Pendulum summon is going to summon out this Cutia that we put back into Ian's extra deck earlier. And then, what do you know? You have level 1 plus link 1, so you just do the yummy combo. That's basically the line. If you were to play Donner, like I said earlier, to like preserve the IP, you do the exact same thing. Normal summon this. This is your hand. Grab this off of this. Activate the effect. Discard the random card. Add these 2, special this guy. Effect, add these 2, scale these 2. And then what you would do instead is you would turn the Cutia into a Link Karibo. This is the 3rd summon. These 2 become the Donner. I don't have a Donner on me. Pretend there's an IP. Pretend the if is the Donner. You make the Donner here. This is the 4th summon, and then you get to Pendulum summon on 5th summon, just like before. The Donner arrows are like right here and here. And so they have to nib at the exact same spot, but also it lets you preserve the IP for later in the turn. Yeah, as I said earlier, Donner's is really good for being able to remove cards for Obedience School. Other cards I considered, Paolo played Brute Enforcer, I think it was. It's just like a Link 2 that dunks a card. It's probably fine. I considered playing Haggard, but it doesn't have 2 downward pointing arrows, so it doesn't really matter. The Solfachord Link 2 for those plays, I still have one. I might consider that in the future, but I'm not entirely sold on it. There was one other card I considered, but I forget what it was. Hang on. Herald of Mirage Light. That way, since you make the IP over the course of the combo, you can end on the Herald, and then what Primoa has an effect in the scale that if you Pendulum summon a Grand Solfachord monster, like this guy, you get to bounce a card from your Pendulum scale back to your hand. So you bounce this Primoa back to your hand, and now you have a discard for the Herald of Mirage Light. So if we end up in like a really combo format, like that's gonna be pretty good. Because it lets you get that spell trap negate, especially like into breakers that are respondable. So like, you know, your Dark Holes and such. That's really good for spell trap negate. So I might play that. I'm not entirely sure. That 15th card is kind of random. Going forward, I think the side deck. Hello, Critter. You're good man. This is sponsored by cats. Going forward, All right, you do not want to be in my arms right now. Going forward is one of the most disorganized deck profiles I've ever done. Going forward, I'll probably swap out the Typhon for some other Link 2 that I can play. Maybe the Imperm for something. I'm not 1,000% sure. But that's really it. The deck felt like perfect. I think that I really did a good job with this one. Everything in the side deck felt really good. Might swap out the Lightning Storms, just it depends on what direction the meta goes before Pittsburgh. But everything else felt really solid. I'm really proud of how this deck performed. Especially since I had, like, no practice on this version of it. Not that, like, that really matters. Yummy is yummy, but, like, I don't know. I think it performed really well. This is actually my best regional performance ever. 11th place. We are inching closer and closer to the top 8, so I'm really proud about that. Shout out my boy Nathan Gerchak, Noel Peltier, and Nick Simon, who all have to deal with me playing Yummy. So shout out to them, and then shout out to the one behind the camera, my wife, Bia, who lets me go on these trips. That's all I got. Shout out to Team Evo, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
I just keep recording.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna want to capture it at like a slightly above angle. You're gonna need to stand for this.
No! I'm small!
Sorry. Not that tall. That's good. I'll do the intro. Are you recording? Yeah, that's right up there.
It's perfect.
You can see my bald spot.
Yup. There it is. It's so shiny.
Yeah. All right, can you bring your... Yeah, like right there is fine. Are you recording?
Yes, I've been recording.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to have to edit this. Yeah, this is 30 seconds of actually perfection.
Oh, yes, of course.
Leave it in.
Thank you.